Welcome to
The Alejo Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Alejo Show. Today I have a great show, especially for those who are teachers or want to be an English teacher, because I brought the best. I brought a person that is always trying to help teachers. She has a job in which she has to be the boss, so she has to take care of the teachers. She's fantastic, and she's my friend. Liliana Arias is in the house. Lily, welcome to the show.
Hello, Alejo. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good.
All
Happy
right.
to be here.
Very glad to be here with you. There are many of my subscribers who are either teachers or they are starting to become teachers. And they always say, like, can you tell me pointers to not be a bad teacher and instead of that being a great teacher? And that's going to be my first question. For you, what says this is a good teacher or this is not a very well prepared teacher?
Okay. The most important thing is me as a teacher, I love teaching.
Right.
I love what I do. So when you enjoy what you do, you reflect it.
All right.
Everyone knows that you are having fun.
They always say, like, hey, you should have fun.
Yes.
And that's kind of cliche,
Yes.
but how do I have fun?
No, you have fun because you feel what you're doing, because
right.
you like it. You have bad classes, you have bad days, you have problems and situations, yes. But have fun in your class, okay? Forget about everything else. Have a well-prepared class. Know what you're going to do, and you're going to be a good teacher. Of course, we can improve.
All right.
Of course, we have bad classes. Of course,
We have bad days.
Yes,
We're humans.
Yes, and we've all had teachers who are not that great, okay?
Right.
So identify those pointers and try to give your best with your students.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
And how do you identify, this is a teacher that needs a little bit more preparation, or this teacher is doing this or that is not so good in a classroom?
Because you see that they are insecure, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, when you start like, okay, we're gonna do. No, not that. No, yes, it happens.
All right.
Once again, we are not perfect, but if you have your things prepared, planned, and if you practice makes perfect.
All right.
Also, of course, but if you have everything ready, you're going to have a good class, okay? And
Okay.
if anything goes wrong, it's okay. Be human.
All right.
If they see you're human, if you make a mistake, let them know that you made that mistake. If you are not sure of something, let them know that you don't know, you're not sure,
Okay.
but you're going to, investigate, you're going to research, and then you will explain.
Okay, I'm gonna have like a separate topic over here, because one thing is to be a native English teacher, and the other thing is to be like us. Like
Yes.
we weren't born speaking English. We learned English.
Yes.
We're still learning,
Yes.
and we teach English. Let's go to that part, because most of my subscribers are from Latin America. So one of the things that people are more afraid of is like, I'm gonna be a teacher for the first time, but maybe my students have a good level and I don't have that level I would like to have. That insecurity. What would you tell to those teachers who, I'm still learning, I
Okay.
just
Yes.
graduated and I'm still learning and I'm going to teach a class. Oh my God, and this kid's from New York, but he's in my class. That insecurity, how
Okay.
to deal with it?
I had a kid once when I was a teacher in one school. I was teaching science, and
All right.
I had a kid.
You were teaching science in
Yes,
English.
Yes, and I had a kid who was from.
Do you know science? I didn't know that. Like, wow.
I did, and I studied a lot for fifth
Great.
grade.
Okay.
Yes, and I taught for fifth grade science
All right,
in
cool.
English. I had to study a lot, and I learned a lot.
All right.
And what I didn't know, I asked the science teachers.
Okay.
So then I could, explain it in English. The thing is that this kid was from New York.
Ooh.
Okay. So the first class I told him, listen.
He was a native speaker.
Yes,
All
and
right.
I told him, listen, if you listen and I said something that is not correct or I make a mistake, please let me know. Do not tell me in front of everyone, like making fun of me, but call me and tell me,
Okay.
because I'm also learning. And he was like, he looked at me like, I can't believe it. Because,
They think you know
Yes,
everything and
no.
you know.
And it's okay. Be careful with this. I'm not saying that as an English teacher, you're allowed not to know what you're supposed to know.
Okay.
But be comfortable. And the other thing is, even if they have a higher level, maybe because they live there, even if they have a better pronunciation, because I know my English sounds a little bit, like with my strong accent.
You have a fantastic English. Don't say
Thank
that.
you very much. But I have an accent. But it's okay to have an accent, okay?
All right, sure.
And you are the teacher and you know things that you are going to explain to them. So
All right.
it's okay. Be comfortable. And if you make a mistake, okay, thank you very much for letting me know that.
All
Or
right.
once again, I'm not sure. I'm gonna check and I'll get back at you. And that's it. Okay,
Cool. So don't be too much in your head like,
Yes.
oh my God, I'm
No,
not speaking perfectly
no.
because nobody does.
No. And the other thing, Alejo, is learn from your mistakes.
Okay.
We are all going to make mistakes.
All right.
And when you learn from that, you're going to be better.
Okay, that's a very good advice.
Yes.
Lily, many of my students and wannabe teachers, they always say, I want to be a cool teacher.
Yes,
I want
we all
want my students to like me.
Yes.
So I don't want to make a lot of rules. If they come late, that's okay. If you didn't do the homework, that's okay. How to deal with both situations? I want to be cool, but I want to be respected.
Okay. We all want to be cool,
All right.
okay? We all want to be great teachers.
Memorable?
Yes, we all want everyone to like us.
All right.
But that's impossible, okay? I have news for everyone. Not every student is going to like you.
Okay.
Not every person is going to like you because that's real life, right?
Okay.
Good to be cool. Good to be fun in your class, to have fun classes, to be funny, to make your students have fun.
Be
But,
creative
yes,
stuff.
To be creative and to be like the best teacher ever.
All right.
But if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Sometimes you think you're doing things great, but your students are not that happy. So you need to connect with your audience and you need to face those students and ask them, is everything okay? I mean, are you comfortable? And maybe that student is going to tell you, teacher, I don't understand you. Or teacher, you go too fast. Or teacher,
Okay.
Like your classes are
So
very...
always keep that communication with your students.
Or teacher,
both ways.
your classes are very boring.
Oh my God,
Because,
that would be
yes,
tough.
It will be tough, but it's important for you to know that your classes are boring.
Uh-huh.
So you have two
Even
paths.
though Lily, it's kind of easy to know that because you see your students joning and they are
But,
not paying attention
Alejo,
and
But it's kind of easy to know that, but we just pretend we don't realize
like maybe
that.
he's tired, but he's
Yes.
not tired. He's bored.
Yes.
All right. He's
but
bored.
You have two paths.
All
You
right.
can choose like, okay, this is my class and I'm sorry for you, or okay, I'm going to reflect and
Okay,
I'm going.
I'm gonna try to do something
I'm
better.
going to try to do something better.
Okay.
Yes. Be careful. Be careful with being the clown, because sometimes we don't set boundaries because we want to be the cool teacher,
Right.
the fun teacher. And no, we need rules, we need boundaries, because we need to be respected and respectful, and because it's all about, like limits, right?
All right.
But still, you can have fun.
Okay. Cool.
I
cool.
love it. And even in preschool, you don't have to be a clown, but you can be fun. You can be funny.
Okay.
You can set a relaxed mood in your class. But once again, you need to set rules, okay? This is okay, this is not okay.
All right. There's
This
a
is-
time to be funny. There's a time to be
This
strict.
is allowed, this is not allowed, or this is not proper.
All right. Okay.
But another important thing, I was talking to a teacher the other day, and I was telling that teacher, it's good if your students like you, but if there is a student who doesn't like you, it's not a problem.
Oh, okay.
Because Alejo, let's
Not everybody
face it,
has to be my friend.
of course. And there is this chemistry thing that you cannot control.
All right.
Sometimes you walk into a classroom and you click with your students.
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk into a classroom and there is no click, but you still have to teach your class.
You know what happened to me once? I was teaching a class, probably 15 students. 14 of them loved me, except just one girl. She was always giving me the eye, and she was not
Happy.
She was not happy. She was not participating. And at the end of the course, when I tried to talk to her many times, but she was always trying to refuse talking to me. So at the end of the course, she talked to me and said, "You know what? You look like my ex-boyfriend."
That's
And
it.
I said, "Do I?" Yes, yeah. My ex-boyfriend is bald, super sexy. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course,
but,
yes.
but with beard and so I was very uncomfortable in the class. I say, well, I cannot change my bone structure.
Yes.
So you never know what happened, but
That's
she
true.
learned. I mean, she said, but you know what? But even though I didn't participate, I learned a lot. And you're a great teacher, but the chemistry was not there, and it's
it
okay.
happens. It
I don't have to be guilty about that.
Of course. The thing is, what I told this teacher is, because she was very keen in the fact that I want my students to like me. I do everything for them to like me. Alejo, that's very dangerous.
I give them chocolates
Yes,
and stuff.
No, and the thing is, not even that. Like, okay, if they want to dismiss class before, no, that's okay. I mean, like, no.
All right.
If they don't like you, as long as you're respectful, as long as you do what you are expected to do, and as long as you're professional, it's okay, because no one, I mean,
Exactly.
like, nobody is like, everyone likes me and loves me.
That's
So-
that's a social media thing to blame. That we all
Yeah.
want likes and we all want to be likable.
Uh-huh.
But when you're a teacher, you don't have to be Barney. You don't have to be Mickey Mouse. You don't have to be someone
that's
that
it.
everybody loves.
That's it. And
That's a
and
good
that
thing.
applies for not only English teachers, every teacher. The teacher that I hated the most in my college years, is my favorite teacher.
The one that you learned the most.
And I learned a lot, but
It happened to me.
he was very obnoxious to me, okay? So that's one important thing. Not
Right.
everyone likes you, but if you do your things right, it's okay if they don't like you.
What about failing students? Because that's a hard one. When you know a student's gonna fail, but you don't want to, break that bond that you have, that bound that you have with him or with her. But if they have to fail, they have to fail.
If you have to fail, you have to fail. What I think is about that, I think many things. The first thing is, if you know your students, you can help them
All right.
before it's too late.
Before it's too late.
Okay, that's one thing. Always tell them what is going on, because it's not fair when they come at the end of the course, the class,
And,
whatever it is.
surprise!
Yes,
You're gonna
guess
fail the
what?
course.
Yes, that's not fair to your students.
All right.
The other thing is, be clear with them, okay? Be clear on what you are going to evaluate.
Okay.
And one thing that I do as a teacher is, if you give me your job, your paper, and I can take a look and I can correct it, and then you
Make you better.
and and then you rewrite it or do it again, I will give you another opportunity.
Oh, all right. So
Because-
you don't fail the student immediately. You say like,
No.
this is not good. You're gonna fail. I mean, you failed at
Yes.
this assignment,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna give you another chance.
Of
You're gonna do it
course.
again
Yes.
for me with this and these basic structures, and then give it back
Because
to
that's
me.
how you learn. You learn from error,
All
and
right.
you learn from proper feedback, okay? So feedback for me is the most important thing about the learning process.
All right.
When you sit with a student and you tell that student, listen, this is what happens. This is not okay. That your pronunciation, your vocabulary, your lack of structure. But I'm going to give you another opportunity. If that
Okay.
student wants to take that opportunity,
that's gonna be
that
great.
that student is going to be happy. He's going to be, or she's going to be motivated.
And you're gonna be a memorable teacher for that person.
And the other thing is, Alejo, when you're learning something, you need to know what you're doing wrong in order to do it right.
Okay.
But when you don't know what you're doing wrong, and at the end you're like, okay, you just did everything wrong, and I'm sorry.
All right.
You didn't have the chance to correct.
That's great. Lily, have you seen my YouTube channel?
Yes, of
Ah,
course.
all right.
Of course.
Because I try to be as creative as I possibly can, and I came up with these characters. So I have Rocky Metallico, and I have
Yes.
all these
And the
people,
pirate.
and the pirate and stuff. And many teachers they have written emails and stuff, and they say, Alejo, I wish I could have your the possibility of being so creative as you are. And I guess one of the problems teachers feel is that I am not creative when I'm planning my class, because I want to do more than just write it on the board thing. I want to do creative things. How can I, increase my creativity? What would be your recommendation when that matter comes in? Because, as I told you, many of my students said, oh man, you did that class so funny. So how can I do a class just like you? I'm not that, creative, and I'm not that out there. So how can I do it? What would be your recommendation for all the teachers to increase and make a class interesting, different?
Okay. The first thing is, I think you have to do what you feel comfortable doing.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because if you start pretending, it's not going to fit you.
I'm going to dress up as a pirate because Alejo did it. No,
it's not going to fit you, okay? The second thing is, Alejo, and this is something that I want to leave out there for all of us teachers to think about. We are a community. We have many great ideas.
Okay.
But we lack when we have to share. I've learned many things from many colleagues.
Okay.
So when I look at other teachers, they have good activities.
Yeah, sure.
They have good ideas. So you just have to leave your comfort zone and try something.
Trying
okay?
something new.
And if it doesn't work, because it's okay to have bad classes. It's okay if that class didn't work, okay?
Sure.
So you say, okay, this didn't work for me, but something else is going to work. If you want to dress up, but the important thing is to know your audience, okay? For example, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm very kinesthetic. I move around and I talk with my body and I'm never in just one place. Yes. And I had a class at 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning, yeah.
It's very early.
Which I have to say, for my people in Mexico or Peru,
it's normal.
It's normal here in Colombia to have classes at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, very early in the morning. And I had a group of 10 students, and I thought...
They're always sleepy.
Yes, and it's hard, and it's the beginning of the morning. So I was like, okay,
they're cranky.
I'm going to rock my class because I'm the funniest. I move around. And I had this student who kept coming late and he wasn't happy and you could feel that he wasn't comfortable. So one day at the end of the class, I told him, are you okay? Is something going on? And he told me, you know what, teacher? You move too much.
Oh, no way.
And I was like...
So he was, okay, I have a similar story.
Yes. And I was like, what? And he said, please, lower your energy. And I said, I cannot believe this. I thought I was being
that was what the class needed at that time in the morning.
Ever.
Sure.
And he said, please, it's too early. Just be, bear with us. We're just waking up. I said, oh God.
How far in the course did that happen?
It was the first week.
Okay. So it was early enough to change.
So I tried my best, and I told him, look, I'm gonna do my best, but
I cannot.
But
I
also explained, look, this is very early. I need you to wake up. I need you to connect. And he said, okay, we're gonna meet halfway, and we did great. But it was funny. But the important thing is, Alejo, you have a style, you have a personality, and you don't have to change.
All right.
But you do need to look around, and if something works for another teacher, if you have preschool, you're not going to be the same as if you have teenagers.
Of course, adults.
And yes, so and creativity, you can look up internet. They have many resources. Just look, try them.
All right.
And if they work, you can make a bank of activities. And if they don't work for you, it's okay.
All right. So you can have, for example, let me teach the past tense. Mm-hmm. So we always do, okay, let me talk about my last vacation. And maybe the students have taken that course before and they're like, okay, I'm going to talk about or I don't feel comfortable talking about my vacation because I didn't do anything or my father died in the last vacation. I don't know. So there are many ways to teach that subject, for example.
Of course.
It's really funny the story that you mentioned, because what happened to me is that I shake hands every beginning of the class. Hello, good morning. I shake hands. And I could feel that someone was very uncomfortable, and I talked to this person and she said, I'm germophobic. So I don't like to touch people. So I didn't know that. So you take things for granted and you say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this because everybody does it, and that's how it works. So you have to start being creative about looking and for new ideas and going to other classes and checking a lot of books. And I guess that's going to be great for teachers to increase their bank of resources to teach classes.
Definitely.
Okay, one of the things or one of the problems is, what do I do to get my students to talk? Because I have a group of students and I'm teaching the classes and I said, do you have any questions? Nobody talks.
No one.
For example, how do you say this? Nobody talks. How can you make, as a teacher, your students to communicate with you?
Okay, you mentioned something that is very important. Never, ever, when you say, do you have any questions? you are never going to get
Yeah,
questions.
nobody's gonna say yes. I do have a question.
And when you say this one is better. You give a bunch of instructions.
All right.
And you go, did you understand?
Everybody will say yes.
Yes. Okay. Start. At the minute you say start, you see everyone turning. What do we have to do? But in Spanish, ¿qué tenemos que hacer?
¿Qué dijo?
Yes. And you see this and you go like, but I just told you. And no one.
And I asked,
yes.
do you have any question? Nobody said nothing.
Because you're asking the wrong question. Okay.
Okay.
How do you do it? You go like, okay, Alejo. Step number 1, what are we going to do? So you go, it doesn't matter. Tell me in Spanish or tell me in, okay.
Okay, try to, make yourself.
Or just mime.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
gestures
or
or
just
whatever.
mime. And they go and you go, and then you say it again. Okay, the first step, you're going to get in groups.
Oh, okay.
So they go like, all
right.
So you check.
Probably they didn't get the first step.
They
So,
didn't get it.
okay, groups.
So,
all right.
never did you understand? No, just check. Follow-up questions. Ask them questions.
What about, do you have any questions?
Okay.
How would you change that?
Do you have
for?
any questions? No, you go like, Alejo,
Is it clear?
ask me something, okay?
Okay.
Or can you explain this? Or maybe you can make them. There is something that I like very much, and is I write a sentence, okay, and I write it wrong.
All right.
And I say, what do you see here? Is this correct?
Is this correct?
I know, teacher. No. Why? So, because they have questions, okay?
All right, okay.
But they are not going, they don't know the questions that they have.
Maybe a good idea is that I can, foresee what the questions will be. And I know these, they're going to ask me about the grammar. Mm-hmm. So maybe before I say, do you have any questions? Maybe I should do that exercise and just try to come up with a couple of grammar examples. Say, is this clear for you guys?
I'm going to tell you something. There is an approach called the noticing approach. And in that approach, you don't explain grammar to students. Students get the grammar by looking at examples. Okay? So, for example, we all love the third person.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
She.
Okay.
He,
she play.
He play.
Yeah, of
he
course.
play. You're missing the S. You're missing the
She
S.
go.
She go. Okay. So, what you can do is you can write a sentence.
All right.
Okay. You write a sentence with I go to the beach and then he goes. Okay. And then you say, what is different? And they get it. You have to trust your students.
All right.
And you have to let them realize things on their own.
All right.
And when they get it, they explain it. And they go like, teacher. It's like a discovery.
Okay.
So you didn't do it. So you didn't do it like in the regular way when you explain grammar. They say that they understood and then they forget. The other thing is, Alejo, sometimes you can have 5 minutes of grammar. Okay?
I was going to ask you that. That was going to be my following question, because the other question my students teachers ask is, what about grammar? Because grammar is tough and it's difficult to teach and it's not fun.
No.
I disagree. You can make a grammar class fun.
Yes.
I can possibly do it. But they say, do I have to teach grammar? Like, okay, so guys, the third person. If you have a third person, it has to be with S unless it finishes in E, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact of grammar being taught as grammar class?
Okay. I don't like to teach grammar because I like to do it in many other ways. And you
like the one you just said, like I'm gonna notice the grammar before the teacher even tells me the grammar.
And we've worked together, and where we worked, we never taught grammar.
Okay.
But you have students who don't get the grammar that way.
Okay.
Even they don't notice, they didn't understand something.
Right. Okay.
Or you have difficult topics. Okay. The other thing is you have students who they really need that explanation. Like, please,
they're very visual, so they need to. Write on the board the grammar structure, the subject plus verb plus whatever.
And they need it. So what I think and what I do as a teacher and what I tell my teachers is, don't fight with that. Okay?
Okay.
You can have 5 minutes of grammar. Okay, guys, I'm gonna give you this a small explanation.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Even the mathematical,
like the rules.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, if you know the rule but you don't know how to apply it, you don't know anything.
It's like knowing how to drive a car but never jump into a car.
So we need to practice, and that's it. But one of my most important things that one of the things that I always say is, do not fight with things.
All right.
If they ask you, explain. If they don't get it, try in another way.
Okay.
But don't go like, no, I'm sorry, I don't explain grammar. Because you're the teacher.
Of course.
And they need it. Okay.
Of course, you're the one who knows the thing.
Yes.
Okay, let me go back to the matter that we were talking about, that student that never talks. Because sometimes we think that what we have to do over there is just like, for example, Liliana is the one is not talking in my class. So what do I do is very simple. I just talk to you like, okay, Liliana,
Yes.
Liliana, you tell me what you think. And she never talks. And now I'm confronting her in front of everybody. That's the first mistake.
Yes.
They always tell you not to do.
Not to do. Yes. I mean, you don't put anyone on the spotlight because you don't like it, because no one likes it.
It's not comfortable
It's
to
not
do.
comfortable. Alejo, many people, they don't speak in English class because they don't speak anywhere.
Exactly. It's
Because
not that's a fantastic thing,
Because
Lily,
they
because it's
don't
not
have-
your problem. Maybe they
Yes.
have that since they were kids.
Yes, because they don't feel comfortable. We feel comfortable talking
Yeah,
in front of
whatever.
a microphone.
I can go to a Chinese class first day. I'm gonna be talking.
Yeah, and I'm going to be participating.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
how I am. But that's us, okay? So that's why I say you have to know your students. Sometimes it's easier if you pair them up
All right.
and you
with
have
the
them
most
talk,
talkative person with the
and you
least.
have them talk and practice, and you go and you check.
All right.
Sometimes, okay, if they have to talk, they have to talk.
All right.
But you can, we teachers go like this. Okay, you're going to talk for 1 minute, no papers.
Okay.
No, so you go like
that's
So
yeah.
that
and that
person-
still happens.
No,
Like, okay, everybody needs
yes.
to talk 1 minute, and I'm gonna be counting, and you need to talk about whatever topic.
Yes.
1 minute, no,
No
papers.
papers.
You cannot. And people are like, okay,
No.
okay, one, go,
You go like-
and they're just like a mannequin.
and
like,
yes.
over there.
So I mean, if it's an adult, if it's a teenager, if it's a kid, they get. I mean, they go into panic.
All right,
Okay.
all right, okay.
So the thing is, invite them, okay? And one other thing, if you have to do it, you have to do it, but help them,
All right.
prompt them,
Okay.
make them feel comfortable, negotiate with them.
All right.
It's okay. I mean, be human with your students.
Sure. Okay, I have a difficult one.
Okay.
Grading. We all know that English have like, has like 4 typical skills like reading, writing, and
The
speaking.
abilities.
All right.
Yes.
But I need to grade all those 4 skills, and they write very good. They read very good. They seem to understand what they listen to, but they don't speak. So 3 out of 4, or I'm sorry, you cannot move to the next course because you don't speak. What would you do in those cases? So let me rephrase that again. So they read, write, and they listen okay. But their production, their oral production is not okay. And, some teachers will say, like, he has to fail the course because, speaking is the most important thing. Some other teachers will say, like, he can move on. And I will just give a recommendation, like, you need to step on your game. What would be your recommendation based on your experience?
Alejo, it depends.
All right.
Okay? If the speaking is like, he's not very fluent, but
He doesn't speak at all.
yes, that student is not very fluent, but he or she can communicate the basics for that specific course or
Okay,
level.
okay.
So we're good, okay? I will give a recommendation.
He's not a parrot. He doesn't
Yes.
speak like,
But I will give a recommendation. But of course, you have standards. Of course, you have the topics and the most important things for that specific course or for that specific level.
Sure.
If that person complies with that, if that person achieved that, well, you can move on.
You can move on
Yes.
and then just be careful next course and
Of
stuff
course,
like that.
yes. And of course with the recommendations, because we all are not we all don't have the same strengths.
Sure, of
Okay?
course.
That's one thing. But if the student is failing and those things that he or she is not able to do are very important,
Yeah.
and they are a very big part of the course,
They cannot move
I'm
on.
sorry, but they can move on.
Okay.
That's what I tell my students. I explain to them because they say like, teacher, but I understand everything. Yes, but
In the real world,
yes,
baby, that's
but
another thing.
But the objectives of this course you didn't achieve them.
Okay.
So you need to continue.
But as you said before, we cannot allow to have that part of the conversation right at the end of the course. I
No,
mean, if
yes.
I notice at the beginning, the middle of the course, that this person probably will fail that skill, maybe I should talk to her
Of course,
or him
yes.
and say, like, you're not doing this okay. And if this continues like that, you might not be able to move on to the next course. So maybe the person takes action and does whatever they want to
Definitely,
do.
of course,
Okay.
yes.
Lily, preparing a class, lesson plan. Some teachers said, I have 2 kids in my house. My wife is sick, so I don't have time to plan the class. But I know what the class is going to be. We were talking about the present perfect, so I'm just going to start with a couple of examples. I'm going to make them in groups and just talk. But we all know that doesn't work if you don't have a plan B, because nothing works. So preparation is a major thing.
It is. Okay, here's the thing. I always plan and I never do what I plan. Okay?
It's very common.
I always have an agenda for my classes and I never do what I had on my agenda.
But why? Why is that?
Because I always change, because I see my students are not in the mood, or because they are in a different mood and I can go and do more, okay? Or because they had questions from the previous class and it took me longer and I cannot just go like, I know, I'm sorry, I had this plan, so sorry for you.
But you saying that means that probably somebody that is listening, watching this show will say like, oh, there you go. So you don't have to plan.
No, but listen.
Okay.
But I have a plan, okay?
Right.
And my activities are related to my plan. But maybe I don't follow it step by step because I have to move it around. But for sure, you need to plan. Why do you need to plan? First, because when you have a plan, you know it by heart.
Okay.
It's one thing to say, no, I have it all here. No, you don't have it all here.
Okay.
When you write it, when you have a structure, you know it by heart. And it shows, okay? You move around, you're confident in your classroom. I mean, you go.
The time managed,
you go
your
with
class
the flow.
lasts 2 hours and it doesn't.
You go with the flow and your students know it, okay? The second thing is, when you plan, you should plan A, B, C, D, and even E.
Exactly.
Because things can happen.
All right.
If you are a preschool or a primary teacher, you know kids finish everything like this.
All right.
So you had an activity for 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's going to be like 30 minutes and they finish
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And
you have 20 minutes like, oh my God.
And you cannot, I mean, if you
And then
leave,
impro is not a good suggestion.
And with kids, no. Because they know, they can feel that you don't know what you're going to.
The teacher's not knowing.
And they get loose and they get crazy and many
Exactly.
things. If you have a class with teenagers, they expect you to be prepared,
All right,
okay?
of
They
course.
get the most out of you. They want you to challenge them. So
Exactly.
you need to plan for that class.
Okay, but I have a difficult one over there. I have a group of 10 students, 10 kids, and I plan something that I know it's going to be like 20 minutes. And I have these 2 that they always finish at the second I said something.
Okay.
Should I do my class in their speed or the lowest one? Because, sometimes I have a group of, 20, and half of them speak very good and they do everything like this, but the other half not. So I said, like, should I do the class for the 10 that are like this and make them run? Or should I take slower for these people and they have to wait? That's a tough one.
That's a tough one, and it happens, and it's very challenging. One thing is you need to find the way in the middle, okay?
Okay.
And there are strategies. For example, what I told you, you can pair them up.
All right.
Okay.
So let me take a flash with a torch.
Yes.
Just
You can pair them up. For example, you can have extra activities.
All right.
You can have people helping you.
Okay.
You can get those students who finish very, very fast and help you guide the other ones.
All right.
And when they explain in a different way, okay?
Okay, so did you finish? All right, so you
Yes.
help Carlitos or whatever
Yes.
to finish what they're doing.
Definitely. And they help each other, okay? And they feel confident.
And it's a good way to learn.
And
I mean, teaching is a good way to learn.
It's a good way to learn, and maybe that person who felt reluctant and who felt scared, when a friend comes, it's going to be different, okay?
Right, sure.
It doesn't work like magic, okay? Everything that we're saying here it comes from our experience.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But also, if you have a student who is really, really ahead of everything, you have to pay attention because maybe that student can go to a different course.
All
Okay,
right.
that's
Okay.
another thing.
Sure.
So you have to be careful with those things.
Yeah, you have to analyze. Maybe,
Yes.
I mean, this person is finishing always in 2 minutes.
Yes.
What I think is going to take him 30 minutes. So maybe he's very advanced. He
Yes.
should move on to the
Of course, definitely.
Lily, it's been a pleasure. Times, flies by.
No.
It's been a pleasure to have you here on the show. We are going to have a show with a couple of friends, and you're going to be there.
Great,
So you're going to be back in the Alejo show. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again very soon in the show.
Thank you, Alejo. It was a pleasure. Finally, we did it because
Yeah,
it was
sure.
very hard. And
Your agenda is crazy, so that's
no,
the thing.
yeah, mine. And for everyone who's watching, just enjoy teaching. That's the most important thing.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Lily.
you.
And thank you guys for being on the Alejo show. I will be seeing you some other time, so I'll see you later, my friends.